People might assume the defining moment in my life was having a spinal cord injury, when in fact, I believe the defining moment in my life was starting a football team with some friends a few years later. Now, that's not the team you might know me for, but it is one I will never ever forget. It was that decision that brought me back out of my shell and got me out of the house again at a time when I really needed it. That was my reset point and the light bulb moment. Let me tell you how I got there. Growing up, I was obsessed with football. Like any youngster, I had the big dreams of becoming a professional. I wasn't particularly academic. I wouldn't say I was naughty at school. I'd prefer easily distracted. But others might remember it slightly differently. After school, I went to college and studied public services. I wanted to be a fireman. By this time, I'm 17 years old, so the dreams of becoming a professional and making it to the Premier League were seemingly a lot less realistic. But a career in football was still very much on my mind. It was a busy time. I was playing football for my college, Worthing under-18s, and I just had my first call up to the Worthing men's team, which I was really, really excited about. I was also due to have trials for England colleges. That was until one night in April 2010, I was a front seat passenger in a road traffic accident and suffered a C5 spinal cord injury that left me paralysed from the chest down. Now, that kind of thing can put a pretty abrupt end to your playing career. There's no amount of deep heat in the world fixing that one, unfortunately. The consultant told us in no uncertain terms the extent of my injury. He said a lot of things that night, but all I heard was, "You'll never walk again." Although this may sound blunt, I'm actually thankful that they were that honest from the start. The last thing I needed was any kind of false hope. Maybe this and maybe that would have just left me hoping every day. Could today be the day I feel something? Don't get me wrong, I was still hoping them things, but knowing the facts tempered it and set some expectations about my injury moving forwards. Nevertheless, this is a reality I don't think anybody is ready to hear. I spent the next 10 months in Salisbury Spinal Unit. Not an easy time, as I'm sure you can imagine. After a few months, proper rehab could start with the physios, and the journey to better understand my body, what it can and can't do, the function I had left, and how best to use it. Then the time comes to go home, and this is all I'd wanted for so long. But leaving the safety bubble of the hospital, surrounded by nurses, experts, and people in the same boat as me, and going back into the world felt really daunting. And I struggled for a while. I mean, I loved being home, but that is pretty much where I stayed. At home. That's where I felt safe. I was scared of going anywhere new, out of the fear that it wouldn't be accessible. And even if it was, it'd be too much of a fuss. And I just really didn't want any fuss, or any eyes on me. And I do still feel like that. So how I've ended up on a TEDx stage, I'm not quite sure. Ultimately though, I just wasn't comfortable in my own skin. I avoided going places that I thought I might bump into someone I knew, because I didn't want that awkward interaction. Them not really knowing what to say, and me not knowing what to say either. It's hard to know what to say. It's hard to find the words. But something needed to change. I was very aware I didn't want to live the rest of my life like that. Which brings me back to my reset point. Although I couldn't play anymore, football was still my passion and my escape. I spoke to some friends about starting a team, and they loved the idea. And so it was born. Now that team no longer exists, but it was the catalyst. It enabled me to start getting out of my house, seeing my friends more regularly, going new places, and mixing in the community again. The beauty was, when people see 16 blokes treating you normally, the awkwardness of everyone else's interaction goes away. They quickly see, oh, he is the same guy, he's just sat down. And this is massive for me. It was thanks to this that I now knew what I wanted to do in my life. By this time, my compensation had been settled, and I had some money set aside to build a career for myself. With it, my plan was to build a community football centre, with an artificial pitch for the community teams to play on, alongside a sports bar to watch live games. Now, how I was going to do that, I wasn't yet sure, but I was obsessed with making it happen. And I thought a great place to start would be trying to find some land. After a few months of searching with little success, it came out in the local paper that Worthing Football Club was struggling financially, and if nothing changed, would be going out of business. And I did not want to see this happen, and I felt like I could help. I still knew a few people at the club, and so asked to have a meeting. I took my plan and explained to them what I'd like to do. Lay the new pitch, renovate the bar, and reconnect the club with its community. I like to think they accepted my offer, but the reality is, I don't think they had a choice. I very much doubt that a 22-year-old with no qualifications was top of their wish list. I knew a lot of learning would need to be done about how a football club operates off the pitch, and I probably underestimated that a bit, to be fair. But I love football, and I knew the game, and it wasn't something I was going to quit. And so, I bought the club, cleared the debts, relayed the new pitch in our first summer, and renovated the bar. And at 32, I can now say I've been the proud owner of Worthing Football Club for nearly 10 years. Believe it or not, though, I do have a life away from football, a very busy and fulfilled one. I thought for a long time that it might not be. I questioned if it was even possible to live a normal life now, and whether I could find a partner that would accept my new reality, or if I could even have a family. But luckily for me, I met a beautiful, caring, and supportive girl, and she introduced me to my girlfriend, Jessica. Of course, I'm joking. Jessica is all them things and so much more. From our first date, I felt at ease around her. I didn't feel like I had to hide or be uncomfortable about my disability. She just accepted me for who I am. We've been together 5 years now, and I count myself incredibly lucky to have met her. She is the best thing that ever happened to me. Well, the second best thing. Because 17 months ago, Jessica and I became parents to our beautiful baby girl. Bonnie. She is the best, and a little menace, to be honest. So, all the things I worried about as a 17-year-old back in hospital, I have managed to find in my life. And now my daily life is remarkably normal, but not without its challenges, of course. It might surprise you, but being a wheelchair user isn't all sunshine and rainbows. There are still the simple things that you may take for granted that I'm wishing for. Things like getting dressed in the morning, or helping yourself to some food when you're hungry, or simply getting into bed. But many problems can be solved. For example, I worried for a long time about becoming a father and feeling as though I was missing out on being a dad to Bonnie or contributing for Jessica, because I couldn't do the things I ordinarily would have done. But I just had to find a new way that works for me. I found some half-moon pillows online that I could put on my lap, which meant I could hold Bonnie safely. I found some Velcro wrist straps, which meant I could help Bonnie with her bottles of milk. The only problem I couldn't solve, and it still hurts me greatly, was changing nappies. Unfortunately, Jessica has had to ride solo on that one. I think I've learnt to handle problems quite well, big or small, and how to be patient around dealing with them. The solution might not always appear straight away, but there is normally a workaround if you stay interested in trying to solve it. You won't solve any problem if you give up after 5 minutes. I think I've always been quite practical in that sense. What good is there to come from moping around? It's no good for me. It's no good for my friends or my family. Of course, being upset, angry, or frustrated has its place, but just never for too long. What's done is done. How do we make the best of what's next? My experiences have also led me to a new second purpose. Me and Jessica started an Instagram page a few years back, raising awareness about disability and living as an interabled couple. Keen to show all the things you can still do as a wheelchair user, and not moaning about the things that you can't. I know that when I was newly injured, there wasn't many places to really look for inspiration or life experience. Now we have places like Instagram, where you can find people in a similar situation to yourself, and you can learn from what they've done and where they've been. I know I would have loved a resource like this when I was back in hospital. So if you'd like to see more of what we've been up to over the last few years, or you just want to see some really cute videos of Bonnie, our page is @thewheellife_. Lastly, always remember, no matter what life-changing event you go through, there is still plenty that you can go out and achieve. Life's not over, it's just going to be different. I, for one, have achieved more in my life than I ever would have done before my injury. It might not be how I dreamt it growing up, but that doesn't mean it's any less fulfilling. Find something you're passionate about and find new ways to get involved. Don't give up because one plan failed. Make a new plan that works for you now. There is a solution to most challenges, unless, of course, someone is asking you to change your nappy. Thank you.
Well,